Stand by 20. And that's 10 seconds. Quiet. Stand by.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back.
We are just now finishing up our broadcast from last Saturday. Thanks for staying with us. And we're ready for episode 2, which we promise will be a little more streamlined than the last week. We already thought we were going to do this for 1 week, so last week was a telethon. This we're going to keep
an episode.
Going forward. I'll be less than 90 minutes, closer to 1:15, we believe. And we're excited to get started. We have a great lineup for you tonight. We'll start off with a couple of kind words from a local friend of ours, and then someone of national renown that we know that you will all love and appreciate, as Kenny and I were absolutely, I don't know. I went to see this person twice at Hard Rock Live. I think Rich was with me one of those times. Rich, are you there?
I'm here.
Can you say hi to Rich, everybody? He's over there on the Space Coast, and he's making all this magic happen. and he's also been working hard to distribute funds to people. But let's go ahead and hear from our good friend that you know and our celebrity friend who surprised us today. Go ahead, Rich.
And we're going.
Mayor Buddy Dyer. We've all been affected by the coronavirus.
20 seconds on Buddy.
Staying at home and keeping people.
We got a minute and a half with Lisa, so.
People rely on performing.
So far, so good.
Live audiences to earn their income.
Ooh.
So tonight, we're doing this benefit for them. I want to thank all the talent that's involved here tonight, and I urge those of you who have tuned in to contribute.
Hey, Wanzie, Rick, Rich, and Kenny. This is Lisa Lampanelli, the former queen of mean, here to say that the lovely George wants to say congratulations on your wonderful $8,000 you raised for out-of-work artists in Orlando. Sounds like you're all out-of-work artists yourselves. Yeah. Kenny, enjoy your Tony, because no one knows who you are anyway. Wanzie, I mean, you're 60 years old and sleeping on Kenny's couch. I mean, come on, start giving at least a few handies so you can afford your own goddamn apartment. Rick, I know you write for the local homosexual newspaper, and I hope that you get back to work soon so that we can know all of the gay goings-on in that area. And Rich, you're a musician. You sound like the worst one because he said like nothing about you, so clearly George couldn't give a shit about it.
30 seconds.
Anyway, I love you all. I'm so proud of you for doing the telethon. Orlando and everywhere has a lot of artists that are struggling, and you're doing the work of many angels. Speaking of out of work, hire me for your next play or musical. God bless you, dudes. Have a great quarantine, and
10
remember,
seconds, quiet.
Gay. Fly your flag high and wash your hands, wash your asses, and definitely wash those cunts.
And you're on, boys.
Hello again. And so that was
Lisa Lampanelli. And we're just guessing. We're not for sure know this, but we think that might be the closest, tightest amount of time between the mayor speaking and use of the word cunt to have happened in mayoral history here in Orlando. So we're very excited about that. That was a gift from George Wallace.
Thank you, George.
To thank Rick Claggett, Rick Sharon, Kenny, and myself for doing this last week. He apparently paid some money to some charity to get Lisa Lampanelli to do that. It's called Cameo. I don't know, but we rather enjoyed it. We hope that you did. All right. So, Kenny, what did you accomplish today while being in sheltering in place?
Just getting some of this stuff ready and sleeping.
Yeah.
Getting myself ready for this.
Yeah, you smell good today.
Thank you.
Mhm.
It's pepperoni pizza.
Mm-hmm. I even put on some fragrance. It's called Mesmerize. And so for those of you who have the new Mac operating system with the scratch and sniff, if you scratch on my neck and then lean into your screen, you'll be able to smell it. And would everyone please stop texting me that you could hear us talk during the videos? We are quite aware of that. I have 10 texts now. We don't need any more. Thank you.
I'm fixing it. I'm fixing it. I'm fixing it.
Our control central says he's fixing it.
Let's go right ahead to, we have to mention the big news, Kenny. Last week, we raised over $6,000 while we were on the air. Thank you to everyone who contributed. And then while the recorded version ran over the next 3 days, we took in another $2,000. So we were able to gift $100 cash gifts to the first 80 people on our waiting list. 187 people applied for assistance at the point where we cut the applications off temporarily. Then a couple of days ago, out of the blue, we received a $5,000 gift from a single person who's given me permission as a challenge to mention his name, and it is Frank Santos, who is the COO of the Rosen Hospitality Hotel Group, gave us $5,000. And Rich just tonight and this morning finished then giving out another 50 $100 gifts to the next 50 on the waiting list. That leaves us 57 people patiently waiting and in need. So thus the reason why we are continuing to do this. And we had the conversation, well, you know, we had so many people last week who gave $100 gifts. You know, can we possibly count on anyone to give again? So while our expectations aren't that we would make as much as we made last week, and we know that a lot of people gave generously because they thought it was a one-time gift, we were talking about, and Rich or Kenny jump in here, about people's normal weekend patterns, and if you were going out this evening to, if it's $10 you would have been spending on a ticket, then don't be sheepish about giving $10. If it was that you were going to go to a SAC on your membership thing and pay $5, $5 is fine. What we're going to be looking for going forward is that if you're enjoying this and you find entertainment value in it, then we hope that if you're able to, that you would then at least go to the URL at the bottom of the screen when you see it, which is watermarkonline.com/Actors Fund, and make a donation of any size. It does not have to be large. Anyone else have anything to say about that?
You nailed it, Michael. You did good.
All right.
Let's bring this gift.
We're gonna, our first guest is someone who we had on last week, but he was on second to last week. He doesn't require a lot of introductions, just to say that he's a fringe favorite. With my first show I ever saw of his was Onion, and he's written, of course, the latest big hit, Josephine, and he's done Hurricane Me, and his musical that's gone to New York, which is Wasteland. Please welcome Tod Kimbro.
Yay!
Hello!
How are you?
Hey, how are y'all doing?
Good, good. My first question, I just wanted to ask you, could you tell the people who wasn't on the show watching last week what your shelter in place is like, and has it moved? Because I know that that's possible.
Right. We do live in an RV, but our shelter in place has stayed in place. We are still staying out in Denellen, Florida. And a couple of days a week, I go to Orlando to visit my parents and help them out with like certain errands and stuff like that, and do grocery shopping for them. But for the most part, I'm out here and just having a nice time and enjoying nature. And I'm the guy who did the Purple Rain video while walking around with all the trees behind him. So that's what I live in. I live in a bunch of trees. It's great.
Tell people the name of where you are.
It's called Rainbow Springs.
Yeah.
Appropriate.
Springboard us right into introducing your first video clip, Todd.
Oh, cool. Well, this first song, this is a song that I wrote that's, frankly, right now it's just a song. It's not attached to a show as of yet, although I do have a couple of shows bandying around in my mind that I want to write that it might be appropriate for. It's a song I wrote called Cottonmouth, and I just had a lot of fun putting it together. I've been sitting on it for way too long, so I thought it would be cool to just sort of like, just go for it and just release it. You guys inspired me, so here it is.
All right, so we're hearing it here first. Thank you. Go ahead, Rich.
Okay.
I don't know how it started, honey. I only know it got a little loud. I'm looking all around me, sugar. Where are you when I need you now? You say you wouldn't change a thing. You break it down. You're dancing in the storm before the cow. So I'm standing on the corner watching. You got your hands out. Up your palms, we're slipping away. This sky was dry as desert. We're ready to dive into neon signs forever. Just turn on the spigot. I know you got a next to stick it out. Just give us a try. Quit slinking around with a cotton mouth. I guess that it was backwards of me, making schemes to lead you into me. I should have thought about it, sugar. I should have said what you meant to me. So give a man a drop to drink. I won't forget that shared cigarette when our lips were wet. Now we're hiding all the ashtrays, collecting debt with apologetic mixed cassettes. Oh, I don't know how it started, honey. I only know it got a little loud. We're slipping away. This county's dry as desert. We're ready to dive into neon signs forever. Just turn on the spigot. I know you got a mix to stick it out. Just give us a try. Quit slinking around with a cotton mouth.
Excellent. Thank you so much for sharing that here first. A fantastic song. I can't wait to see what show that ends up in. For the next, hi hand. For the next piece that I understand it has a setup in it. Would you just like to tell us what show it's from, and we'll roll the footage?
It's from Wasteland, which of course we had the pleasure of doing at the new musical Discovery series at the Abbey in September, the newest version of it. And this is the big Act 1 solo song for the lead character Moggs. And since I'm not really good at making salient points live, I already pre-recorded an intro that sort of sets up the story because it's a lot of things. So here we go.
Excellent. Well, let's just roll that footage then.
Hey everyone, this song is from my musical Wasteland, and it's set about 100 years in the future, and it follows the story of a young man named Moggs, who is brand new to the great big domed shiny city, where everyone, including him, has a tiny computer implanted in their brains. And these computers keep everybody happy and, distracted away from the actual terrors of the world that are happening around them. Moggs is doing good though. He's adjusting to life. He's got a mad crush on this beautiful girl named Sunny Day, and that pops up in the song. He's only got really one issue at this point in the story, and that's that his revolutionary nomad anti-tech family really doesn't approve of his choice to leave them and move to the big city. So this song comes just after a big argument with Moggs' Uncle Max. And it starts off with him sort of kind of rationalizing his choice to, have this implanted tech. And towards the end of the song, it becomes kind of wistful. And you see him sort of reminiscing about his childhood growing up in the woods with these crazy rebels. And you can see the love sort of poking out from underneath that prickly anger. So anyway, hope you guys enjoy this song, which is probably shorter than my intro.
I don't hear no or boo when I do things that I choose. Only bangs and cheers are ringing in my pimped out ears, and you can keep on spewing bile from atop a compost pile while I'm singing. My life's upgraded. Every day is a sunny day.
Search results displayed for sunny day.
God, you're beautiful.
Would you like to send this comment?
Hang on.
Comment sent.
I guess I need to work on that. To think that I was told how this was all so overrated, but I knew to trust my guts. And what do you know? I'm liberated. I'm ready to explore in the mountains of lore. I was born to stay. My life's upgraded. Every day's a sunny day. Oops.
You hit a wrong note. Would you like to download Pitch Corrector 2000?
Yes.
Installed.
This is fun. Now I can do some.
That
was a little bit much. And don't get me wrong, it was nice here and there. The sun on my skin, the wind in my hair, far away from the gleam of a dome. To roam. When you're a kid, everything's new. You're endlessly amused with nothing to do. But as you get older, you need more distractions. You search like an engine, you feel like a fraction. And oh, I guess it's been a while since I looked with unenhanced eyes beyond the modified sky, the unfiltered world that I trade for this life I upgraded. It's my choice, it's my life I made. Might not be perfect, but I grade pretty high.
I love that show. I love that song. I loved what you did with it at the Abbey, and I loved it when I saw, Beth Marshall and Doug in the one
at the Orange Venue.
At the Orange Venue, like when it was Tales of an Illustrious Wasteland, right? And it certainly got trimmed and tightened, and but
was my favorite thing I've ever seen Beth Marshall in.
I like a lot of Beth.
She was great.
But thank you so much for coming out and doing that one. Now I think you need to set up the last one.
Sail On.
Yes, this is Sail On. This is sort of like one of the big, emotional, anthemic Act 2 numbers. And, well, needless to say that in the land of Wasteland, things don't go necessarily perfectly in the happy, shiny, technologically advanced city. And people start getting sick. They start developing these horrible computer viruses. And the president doesn't seem to be working in people's best interests.
So you
I need to stop predicting the future when I write shows. Anyway, it's horrible. I'm gonna write a show.
Kenny said so. You're Nostradamus.
By way of Weber.
How crazy! My goodness. So written before you even knew Donald Trump was president, is what you're saying.
Yeah. This show was written before technological addiction and celebrity presidents were a thing. It's disturbing but true. Anyway, getting back to the song, it's just it's a number that Moggs doesn't really sing. It's Uncle Max's song, and it's sort of like a rallying cry. It's sort of about really the ability to sort of pull yourself out of like a really bad situation, when you're sort of stuck in the mire and you need to move on, you need to sail on to a new place. And this show is figuratively, but also emotionally and as a community. So it's
it you singing?
Yes.
Is it you singing with someone else? Okay.
It's me. Well, and also I have some beautiful background vocals, though, I should mention. Cesar De La Rosa, Marisa Canano, Nate Rodriguez, and Eduardo Rivera are also in there in some of the group vocals.
Wow. All right. Well, that should be good.
Yeah.
All right. Let's roll it, Rich.
So we sailed the sea of love until we wrecked a ship of fools. We were sure we'd pull it off, just acting tough and looking cool. And we thought we'd get away with all the ends feeling fine. All there was to do was one slipping intertwined. Then we woke up all sick with cold, drenched down to the bone. Sometimes I guess and keep feeling, won't you help me take a stand? 'Cause something tells me I'll get buried 6 feet deep in sand. And now I'm waiting on a wave to pull me back to where I lay. Still addicted to the deep, waking sleep each it weighs you down, it's hard to breathe. Sail on and sing with me. Sing with me. Sing with me. Wake up. There's nowhere left to hide. Nobody wants to save you. Feel so let's go. Wherever we may ride, wherever we may ride, wherever we may ride. We love, we fight, we right the wrong. Sail on and sail on. We may not get too far to roll. Sail on and sail on. Sail on, sing along.
Let's clap anyway.
Third time's a charm, all three, fantastic. So real quick, I know that last week you were one of the, yes, she did it, we're going back to Tiger King, I'm sorry. Have you had a chance to watch the Where Are They Now?
Yes,
Yeah.
I actually did watch it.
And I love the two things that everyone seems to think of is that yes, she did it, and yes, he deserves to be in jail is pretty much the takeaway from both his employees. I loved it. If you haven't watched the extra episode, make sure you do. But
I love it too how they don't necessarily say whether he's guilty of the crime. They just think he just deserves to be in jail, period.
Right. Yeah. I don't think anyone's disagreeing on that. Oh, so what have you got coming up? When we're back to coming up with stuff.
Going back to work, please. I just want to go back to my job and sing songs for people and gather. I want to do that.
I know you were singing at it. I know you were singing out at City Walk for like 18 years. Did they finally hire you?
Yes. They finally put me on the table. It was before it was below the table, but yeah. No, I'm definitely going to be looking forward to going back to City Walk and just hopefully going back to some sense of normalcy. I'm going to be working on more shows, of course. I'm going to keep playing with Wasteland, and we did a big cast recording, which I'm thinking I might leak the demo version pretty soon, just because I'm feeling kind of restless.
Yeah,
very cool.
So are we all. And that would be a great way to spend some time.
Yeah.
Do you have anything? Yeah, there we go. That's what I was looking for.
Yes, I would love to plug this. This is the Glamping Guys, and this is a project that's very personal. It's a project that I do with my husband, Jason, and we've been sort of documenting our transition into being mobile full-time RV livers, if that's the term. And also we've been documenting our travels, cooking, drinking, everything. So just tune in if you want something fun to watch on YouTube after you're finished watching this, of course. Watch us. And just stay safe out there, and everyone please donate to this fund. Down there. That's the fund.
Well, thank you for joining us and it not being almost midnight when you do.
Oh, it's fine. I had wine last time. It's all good.
You were great. We appreciate your time. We love you. Bye-bye.
Oh, my goodness.
Bye.
Thank
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
And now a quick message from one of our friends over in Lock Haven Park from the Orlando Shakespeare Festival Theater.
Hi, I'm Jim Helsinger, Artistic Director at Orlando Shakes. It's easy to get depressed when we cannot share the same physical space, when we cannot breathe the same air, we cannot reach out in comfort to a friend, but we can still see beauty, we can still entertain, we can still laugh. So let's do some of that tonight. I want to thank those who are lending their talents to this evening's show. If you're able, please make a donation by logging onto the website indicated at the bottom of your screen.
And we're back, boys.
And we're back. Thank you. Quick housekeeping. We do like to acknowledge everyone who does contribute, and we hope that you are. From Rick Claggett, who's on the tote board over at Watermark. These are the names of the people, most of whom donated after we went off the air last weekend. So we just want to mention that we've received support from Melissa Vasquez, Tony Dedick, William Woods, Michael Slaymaker, Donna Moore, Hetty Bash, Jennifer Foster, Barry Sandler, Robin Gallant, Terry Olson, Mark Isles, Rita Terrell, Michelle Sabrino, Lisa Woodson, Patricia Stewart, Debbie Ireland, Laura Herrera, Robin Gregory, Stella Sung, Ray Leal, Carol Stein, Patricia White, Elaine Wood, Ronald Faulkner, Donald Breeden, Judith Lee, Becky Fisher, James Goodrich, Natalie Doldner, Brandon Markin, Frank Santos, Sherry Fox Laval, for a total now of $13,400 total since we began this push. All right.
That's fantastic.
All right. Well, Kenny, next up is a man I have never had the pleasure of working with, but I think that you've had an association with for quite some time. He's a graduate of NYU who had a minored at FSU. He taught high school for like 7 years. He taught at Valencia for 10 years, I believe. He is the founder of the theater department at Central Florida Community Arts, where they do great theater in the little church on the I-4. And he is a prolific playwright, and you will know his name associated with a bunch of fringe hits. My personal favorite is which was the pageant, the spoof thing called Gorgeous. And of course he did From Here, and he did, I don't know, My Personal Hurricane or whatever that one was. He'll fix it when he comes on. Anyway, he's here with us tonight. Please welcome Donald Rupe.
Hello, Donald.
Hi, how are you?
I'm just
my personal hurricane?
Yeah.
And what was it called?
Yeah. How was your minor of FSU?
Well, majoring at NYU.
I've been going crazy since we went on the air. I sat here for 15 minutes and wrote the perfect intro for you, and then can't find it. Oh. So that was all from memory. So
that was good. You did a good job.
What's the hurricane show?
Hurricane show? I don't even know what you're talking about.
Oh, you know, well then fuck me.
Okay. Well, moving on. How are you now in the next stage of this shelter in place? Have you written like 27 plays, musicals now?
Not quite. I am trying. I'm doing some
I know you're trying. You don't like stand still.
I'm sorry, Hurricane Me was the name of the show. It was Todd's, not yours.
There we go.
Thank you, Todd. We like So I know you have brought us actually 3 pieces as well. Would you like to set up the first one for us?
Yeah, I had to scrounge. You gave me a good reason to scrounge through some old videos, and I thought we could start with a song from Once I Laughed, which was about the Andrews sisters. I didn't write this song, but I wrote the show, their biography. So it's them singing Chattanooga Choo Choo. And the performers are Christy Chamberlain, Becca Southworth, and my good friend Sarah Catherine Barnes.
Well, great. Let's roll that. Then Rich.
Hold on! Excuse me! Pardon me, boy! Is that the Chattanooga choo-choo? Yes, yes! That's what we know! What can you give me a shine? Well, I can afford to board the Chattanooga choo-choo. I've got my fare and just a trifle to spare. When you
I love that show. We were talking during the video that one. I saw it twice. Patrons, I did too. Patrons picking the gold venue. What fringe? What year? You know.
Oh God, it was 6 years ago.
6 years ago. There you go.
It was the first show I ever wrote.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, what a great first effort. I should mention tonight our focus is on original music that we don't have to worry about paying rights for. And while the next two Donald did write, obviously he didn't write Chattanooga Choo Choo, but it's old enough that it's in the public domain, so we don't have to pay for it. So we let that one go. But you did write the next song. Why don't you set that up for us?
The next song is called Higher. It's from a musical called Flying Lessons, which was about a lot of things, but one of which is about Amelia Earhart. I want to give a shout out to the people who helped me write music for that. This is where I met my major collaborator, Jason Bailey. He did the orchestrations, and then I also worked with Cesar de la Rosa and Josh Ceballos on this musical. And performing it is Esmeralda Nazario. And this video is actually from the New York performance when we were at the New York Musical Festival.
Great. Good.
Wonderful. Let's roll that footage. I saw it there. Good.
I see the girl that I could be. I see the girl I want to be. I see the girl I should be. She's already inside of me. Close my eyes and think of what tomorrow brings. Close my eyes. My future can be anything. I am flying higher, higher than I thought I could, higher than they really thought I should. My purpose, I can do this. I never should have doubted me, even though they always doubted me. I am flying higher. I'll show the world the girl I am. I'll show them I am Superman. Today's the day I'm changing. I may not know each choice to make, the issues that I'm facing are chances that I have to take. Close my eyes and dream of what tomorrow brings. Close my eyes. My future can be anything. I am flying higher, higher than I thought I could, higher than they really thought I should. My purpose, I can do this. I never should have doubted me, even though they always doubted me. I am flying higher, higher than I thought I could, higher than they really thought I should. My purpose, I can do this. I never should have doubted me, even though they always doubted me. I am flying higher. I'll show the world the girl I am. I'll show them I am Superman. I'll show them I am Superman.
Another great song. It's just fantastic. That production was so slick, and I thought the story was so well told. It just needs to go to licensing, because that's some gold there. The whole show.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I didn't get to see that one, but I remember when Kenny came back from seeing it, he walked in the door and he said, "That Donald Rupe is just a machine."
Well, that's why I asked. I'm really glad you'd have like six musicals under your belt at least by now.
Yeah.
So I'm a little disappointed, Mr. Machine.
The machine's been tired.
Well, while you're accepting compliments, in just a few moments, Kenny and I we're going to be reading a few things that people have written into us, and the way it fell, he was supposed to read this, but after he read it, he said, "I'm not reading that, but I'll read it to you." This is the message we got after the new preview video that David Dorman put up. Somebody private messaged me. Tell Dorman we love the new show video. Who is that Donald Rupe person? So handsome. If he's also talented, we wouldn't mind a three-way.
And I might have read it, but he told me literally in a minute to go. Like during one of the Todd's videos. So it's sorry. I can't announce on the air who wrote it, but if you're interested, contact me. And now we'll move on to your vinyl. How can we follow up to that?
This one's being performed by a young lady who I just absolutely am smitten by. Every time I see her do something, it's completely different from the last, and I think Dorothy's just a dynamo. Go ahead and tell us what she's going to be doing.
Yeah, the last song is from the most recent show that we did, which we actually had to cut our run short because of COVID and everything. But it's called From Here, and it has a Pulse. The Pulse nightclub is a theme in the show. But Dorothy Christopher, who I've known since I've done theater in Orlando, she plays kind of the best friend, and she's like the quirky, funny, supportive friend, and sings this song. She's a cabaret performer in the show, and she sings.
And I gotta say, I think the writing on this one is just so damn clever. I'm really just tickled to death that it came from someone in our own community. Let's roll that, Rich.
What would the gay boys do without those nosy women? There's no doubt they'd run around the world collecting cats like lesbians and Democrats. Well, I am not afraid to say, oh God, it must be wonderful to realize you're gay. Being gay is better. I can't believe I never really thought about the perks of being queer. You get to wear each other's clothes. You're cultured, kind. You see Broadway shows, and gay men are smarter than every fucking straight man that I know. Gay men, the future is gay men. To hell with the straight men. I'm taking a stand. Homos have good chromosomes. I prefer homos. Let's give them a hand. Being gay is sexy. You never have the pesky chore of finding out you're pregnant right before your grandma's funeral. It's indisputable news. I'd be one of them if I could choose. Republicans may hate your guts, but honestly, they're just a bunch of brainwashed and illiterate assholes. Except, of course, for Grandma. I'm sorry you're deceased. But thanks for the inheritance. May your bigotry forever rest in peace. Fuck you, Grandma! I'm not completely positive why I've shared this narrative at this specific moment in the show. Suffice it to say, I wish I was gay. I'm so fucking proud of every fucking gay man that I fucking know.
That's a great one. And an up-tempo.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, I
Nice
was trying to give you something funny.
Yes.
Yeah, I want to hope some gay people will watch it to appreciate it, but we're not sure what our demographic is, so who knows?
Well, do you want to? I know that. Well, we all hope to be back at CFCA Arts watching shows soon. In the meantime, you guys have some online stuff.
Yeah, we've been doing a couple of different projects. We're doing a playwriting challenge. We did a challenge where we challenged people to sing one of the songs from the show From Here. I wanted to acknowledge again, but I wrote that song with Jason Bailey. It's not just me. And then we're also doing like podcast theater, like some classics that will sell kind of like as audiobooks, which is pretty cool. We're also working on editing the full version of From Here that we hope to do some sort of stream of it while we're still probably quarantined. So hopefully people can see the whole show.
Oh, thank you. Anything else you'd like to say before we move on?
Yeah, I just want to say I think what you guys are doing is really incredible. I think that there's a lot of great people looking out for our arts organizations and for our corporations, but I don't see many people really focusing on the people who make those organizations possible. And so I personally know several people who received some of those grants. And I just want to encourage people, you know, I'm not a millionaire, but I am one of the lucky ones who is still working. And so I donated earlier what I can. I gave $100. I just want to encourage you. That's one artist that you get to support if you can afford that. Like you said, we're not going to Starbucks. We're not buying drinks at the bar. We can afford to support our artists, and I hope other people join me. And thank you guys for doing what you're doing.
Wonderful. Appreciate it. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye. All right. And now we have a quick word from a young lady who, if you've been in the arts community here in Orlando at all over the last quarter century, you know who she is. So, Rich, let's roll that tape.
Orlando. Gosh, I just want to give you all a big virtual hug. I miss you all very much. I am hunkered down here in the Marshall Foster Napick abode with all of our critters. With me today, I have our guinea pigs. This is right here, this is Mr. Art, and this is Mr. Ace, and they wanted to come and say hi. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Beth Marshall. I am the producing artistic director of Beth Marshall Presents. Prior to that, I ran the Orlando Fringe Festival and have been an artist here in Orlando, Florida for the last 25 years. Orlando has been hit hard. For those of you who are reading the news, you know that Orlando and Vegas are going to hit this global pandemic economically in a very, very, very hard way. Our artists here, our gig workers, our service employees, all out of work. Our unemployment site is crap. And we all just don't have much relief. So we're very, very grateful for Wanzie and Florida Theatrical Association, Watermark, Rich Saran, on all of you coming together to make our social distancing showcase part 2 available for our patrons to have at home. And hopefully this entertainment that we can provide gives you some escape outside of what is our new norm right now. And we look very much forward to performing live for you again soon. I want to give a shout out to Shelly Henwa, Phantasmagoria, who made these masks she sent to me to give to my mom's care facility. And the nurses are very, very grateful. So thank you so much.
Okay, appreciate that from Beth. Just for clarification, we are not going to see the young lady, her student that she just introduced. We had a slight miscommunication. We're working on a future show where we do include several of Beth's students doing performances for you, and she thought that's what we were asking her for a video for. But the message is still is there, and we appreciate her time. First of all, we're going to read just a few of the communiques we've gotten back after people received gifts from us. Just 3. We won't take a lot of your time, but it'll just let you know how important this really is to the people who are receiving the funds. This one says, Wanzie and Company, I am an actor who actually qualifies for unemployment. I've been trying for 14 days in a row to get through the unemployment website or just call, but it's useless. The site crashes and the phone answers with a busy signal all day long. On Thursday day, I managed to get through on the phone twice, only have the call drop back to a busy signal after being on hold for an hour. Exasperated, I went to go stand in the line at the office, but didn't even get out of my car because people were being herded together in the line with no distance between them, and most were not wearing masks. My $100 gift arrived from your Actors Fund in my PayPal account last night from Rich, and I was just as I was sipping the very last Diet Coke I had in the house, not knowing where my next meal was going to come from. I never in my life thought I could be so excited about receiving $100, but when I saw that money come through, I felt like I had won the lottery. I don't think you gentlemen have any idea how much this $100 can mean to people like me, life and so much more. Thank you for throwing me this lifesaver. And the next one, Kenny?
Is, you guys, I'm really at a loss for words. Thank you to you guys and everyone for the Central Florida Performing Artist Relief Fund and your donors. This is a huge help. I'm sure you are aware that you're helping fellow artists, but I don't think you'll ever really, you will ever really know just how impactful your thoughtfulness is this side of heaven. Thank you and God bless.
And the final one we're going to read tonight is, I cannot gush more about the telethon, Greater Orlando Social Distance fundraiser, and the rest was so personal and upsetting to me, I had to cut it out. And but it ended with, it brought me so much joy. So for those of you who are giving your time and talent, know that it's obviously it's meaning something. And for those of you who are giving, it means more than any of us who are putting this together ever thought it would. Before introducing our next guest, we want to preview next week's show. It is going to feature the fabulous Cesar de la Rosa and all of his wonderful original work and some amazing video he's put together of one cover. It's going to be sensational. And we have a child star from Broadway, Kenny.
It's his name is Jacob Laval. He was in The Rose Tattoo on Broadway, but you may have seen him in shows like Jessica Jones, Happy, and if you're not watching Happy, you really should. It's very funny. And Team Marco, and right now you can see him currently on HBO in A Plot Against America.
And when I read that last group of names of people who donated, I saw that his mother's name was among them. So we just contacted him today to ask if he would do it, and she's already made a contribution. Just in from the tote board over at Watermark. We've had donations from Cherry Diard, Donald Rupe, George Wallace again, Margot Dixon again, Jeff Jones again, Judith Miko again, Debbie Sobek and Keith Morrison for another $400, bringing our total up now to $13,800. Thank you for that. Next up, our guest is someone who is a stand-up comedian who has literally spent the last couple of years traveling all over the country. He's very big at Bonkers. He started something called the Pink Collar stand-up comedy show with a bunch where he features all kinds of gay comedians, and I'm not certain, but he might be gay himself. You know him as a playwright from the Fringe Festival, where he started out with Hell and then he did When Hell Freezes Over, and he's written 2 of the most popular shows ever to play Orlando Fringe, The Animatronicans and The Animatronicans Under New Management. Please welcome Jeff Jones.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
What is that behind you? What art is that?
It's like stretching portraits from the Haunted Mansion that are made with Disney character stuff. But real quick, before we move on, can you give me the name of that person, the threesome that Donald wasn't interested in? I'm not
Donald
much.
We have to look it up.
I mean, beggars can't be choosers at this point. If I could take Donald Rupe's rejects, I would be okay with that at this point.
Okay.
Well, I'm sorry, but I have to tell you this story. When Sam Stinghouse and I used to host bingo on Wednesday nights at the Parliament House, and it was a big deal. We have 60 to 100 people there every week, and there was always this young man who came and got a drink and never sat down and stood off in the shadows, and it was who turned out to be Jeff Jones. And he weighed about 350 pounds back then, and he had hair that stuck out this side on either far of his head and came down to like his elbows, and looked nothing like the man you see on your screen now. And he would come to give us tickets to things at Hard Rock to use as prizes, and which is how I got to see Lisa Lampanelli. And then one day he asked me if I could give him a few minutes of my time after I ended the happy hour. We sit down and he says, I want you to know I'm thinking about leaving my job and going into stand-up comedy. This man, he's never spoken more than 10 words in the 2 years he's been coming to bingo. He stands in the corner and talks when he's going to do stand-up comedy.
I'm convinced it was all research. It was 10 years of research.
Pretty much.
And honest to Christ, 3 months later, he was a stand-up comedian and making people laugh. And I don't know which was the result of which, but you lost 8,000 pounds and you cut off your hair and you stopped drinking and you look wonderful and you're funny as fuck.
Well, 700 pounds of it was hair. So
that's probably, I can see that.
But no, that was a long time ago. I mean, I didn't quit my job to do stand-up. I did stay with the job for a while. Yeah. But while I did stand-up, then like 4 years ago, I decided to get rid of the job and do what I wanted to do.
A really good job. Yeah. Didn't you have full-time? That's fantastic.
Yeah, I gave up, benefits and health insurance so I could go tell dick jokes to rednecks across the Southeast United States. So living the dream.
Yeah, living the dream.
You guys look good, though. You look great. Did Kenny insist on going with the Barbara Walters filter on the camera over there? Is that what's happening on that side of it?
No, Rich insisted on better lighting, and we also raised the computer. Last week it was shooting up, and I look like Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's a little better. It's all up.
You got to put it so high up to get the angle. When I take a selfie, I put the camera so high up, my feet are in the shot. That's basically
Yeah, that's next week's camera angle.
Well, Jeff, tell us, who are some of the names we'd recognize who you have been invited vis-a-vis them seeing your work because you had to send in a video or whatnot. So, I mean, you didn't get any of your good stand-up things by virtue of your job at Hard Rock. You still had to audition and campaign for them. Who have you opened for?
Most of the people that come through Hard Rock and the big clubs bring their own opening acts and stuff. But when it was in 2010, Joan Rivers was doing a run of dates in Florida, and it was in June, so it was around Pride Month, and she wanted an openly gay comic to open for her on her Florida run during Pride Month. So
and
she
it wasn't
approved me, and I got
Jacksonville or someplace, right? Initially?
Yeah, I did Orlando, I did Jacksonville, and I think it was even South Florida too. But yeah, it was 3 shows with Joan in 2,000 seat venues, which was crazy, and it was like old school comedy. She had a live band on the stage the whole show with, playing you on, playing you off, and doing the whole old school, cut the band off, do your material. It was just wild fun. But yeah, Joan Rivers, I've worked with, and then Joel McHale. Only one comic I've worked with has died at this point. But I worked with Joel McHale, who did the Tiger King reunion here recently, and also Hal Sparks and John Henson. So I've worked with 3 hosts of The Soup on E. So I'm working on Aisha Tyler, and I get the whole sweep of them all at one time is my goal at this point.
Well, great. And while Jeff is performing, let me please remind you, while that total I said sounds great, you have to remember that $8,400 of it has already been, $13,400 of it has already been given away. So at the moment, we've only raised $400 during this broadcast. And so that's what we're starting off with tonight. We really need that number to increase so we can give away as many $100 gifts after this broadcast as possible. So please, no matter how much it is, dig in. And I know after you see Jeff's set, which we just watched before it went on the air, it's hysterical, and it's certainly worth at least a $10 donation. So
that's how much it would cost at a comedy club.
Right. Do you want to set it up?
This was filmed last October at SAC Comedy Club, who, in addition to doing improv comedy, they also do stand-up every now and then and teach a stand-up comedy class that a friend of mine does teach as well. So you can go there, learn stand-up, learn improv, and see shows, but it's a lot of fun.
And I would like to dedicate this portion of the show to Mike and Emily Dorman, who left Orlando to retire to the Villages, who are watching tonight. All right, go ahead, Rich.
Big round of applause for Mr. Jeff Jones! I always wondered what I looked like if I was Mexican. That's like the short, fat comic uniform tonight, is that not? I don't understand. I like to gauge the audience real quick, too. Round of applause. Let me hear from married people. We got married people here tonight. I'm actually happy to be here. That's nice. How about this? Got single people here tonight? Some of you didn't apply for either of those. So thank you for making the trip up from the Villages. That was nice of you. The Village is like the largest STD rate in concentration of Florida or whatever. And like, I have to drive through there to do shows up north, and it's like, just to drive past the Villages, I wear a condom. It's just can't be too steady. Can't be too steady. I'm afraid some of those people would like invite me in for a Villages orgy. I mean, what is that like? It's got to be at like 2 in the afternoon. Is it like a potluck? Do you bring a covered dish? What do you bring? And it's like, I brought a casserole. I don't know. I am single. I am not married. I do not have a wife. Well, that's because I'm gay. It makes having a wife really uncomfortable. Ask John Travolta. But, I said that? I did tell that joke in Ocala, Florida, though. Yeah, they don't like that joke in Ocala, Florida. You know who lives there? John Travolta. In Ocala, Travolta's like right underneath Jesus. I'm sure he's been under someone named Jesus before, but I don't know. People ask me all the time, because I travel to big, luxurious cities like Crystal River and Ocala. They're like, aren't you afraid going into some of these small biker bar towns? Because I play biker bars all the time and I love it. But they're like, aren't you afraid? And it's like, I'm like, no. People go to a comedy club to laugh and have a good time. That's really, and frankly, they should be more afraid of me than I am of them. Because let's say that they have a problem with me being gay, they decide to kick my ass. They get arrested, they go to prison. What happens in prison? You know, right? I told you I smell it. But, decide I don't like them, so I decide to kick their ass. I get arrested. I go to prison. What happens in prison? That's free rent. That's free food. That's a free gym membership. That's a meaningful relationship for 18 to 24 months. That's better than I have it now, actually. It's just, I've tried the apps. I've been on Match.com, eHarmony.com, Overstock.com. You don't meet anybody on Overstock.com. It's terrible. I did Match.com like 10 years ago. I did a profile of myself, did a picture, and I didn't get a single match, not a single one. So then last year, when I turned 43, I said, I'm going to give this one more shot. So I did a brand new profile, a brand new picture, and this time I got a match. From myself from 10 years ago. I do not want to date me. It's miserable. I'm horrible. I'm just terrible. I've given up. I used to watch a lot of porn, but I don't do that anymore either. I watched so much that my computer didn't get a virus. It got syphilis. But I can't watch it anymore because I'm a 43-year-old grown adult, and I tried to watch these videos, and then I just started being a responsible adult. The other day I tried to watch one, and I just kept thinking, do their parents know what they do for a living? Well, how the hell do they get into that position? My knee would be so sore. Oh, that is the ugliest wallpaper I have ever seen in my life. Someone even recommended to me that I should watch vintage porn and mix it up, and I tried that, and then the whole time I just kept thinking, well, these people are probably dead now. If I want to see dead people have sex, I'll go to the villages, really. Done the dating apps and all that stuff. I know, and it was the best to just tell them about. Yeah, I saw that guy. I flicked through these photos, and I did see the guy holding a fish as his profile picture. No lady's ever been looking through that going, ooh, he is ugly. That is one hell of a fish. That's just, he is a provider. I've given up on those apps. I'm just, it's just terrible. I'm a 43-year-old male who is gay. I am more excited when I get a notification from Joanne Fabrics on my phone at this point. If I want instant sexual gratification from an app on my phone, I will use the Domino's Pizza tracker. Really, that's what that delivers. Always. My mother's been pestering me too. It's like, well, why are you single? I look at it the other day, I finally just blamed it on her. I go, I think back in 1997, I met the man of my dreams on an AOL chat room, but you called me and knocked me offline. Young people, at one point in time, we had to choose between the internet and talking on the phone because they were both plugged into the same hole in the wall. You are lucky. Did not have to make choices now. Who remembers that? Who remembers like you have to, I'm gonna run out of minutes. You get those CDs, we're like, I got another CD. Stupid. I like stupid stuff. I like laughing at stupid stuff. It's just how I get my idea for comedy and stuff. I'm addicted to reality TV shows. Who here loves reality shows? Yeah, admit it. You're afraid to admit it. I know you are, but I'm addicted. My favorite reality show is the longest running TV reality show of all time, and that is the TV show Cops. It's live PD now. Look, you are not a true Floridian until you see somebody you know on Cops. It's always Brevard County, too. I don't know what the hell's wrong with those people. Stuff goes down in Palm Bay, is all I'm saying. Palm Bay. The Cops is such an educational show. I learned so much by watching the TV show Cops. Like the other day, I learned there's a huge problem in our country with people breaking into your car and hiding their drugs in it. One always takes a minute. You see somebody pulled over on Cops or Live PD, they search that person's car, they find drugs, what's the first thing that person says? That ain't mine. Really? I saw him pat a guy down. They pulled the nickel bag out of the crack of his ass. What did he say? Oh, that's not mine. How the hell did they get up there? Were you not paying attention when you sat down in Palm Bay, sir? What the hell? My favorite episodes of Cops R.O. is when they do the undercover prostitution sting and they dress up the lady police officer as a hooker and put her out on the street to bust the johns. Seen those episodes? What's the meeting like that morning back in the locker room at the precinct? It's like, all right, we need somebody that can play a really convincing, dirty, real-looking hooker. Barbara would need to be perfect for this. Poor Barbara. But I love reality shows. Oh man, I'm addicted. I can't stop watching them. Literally today, I watched 5 hours of people buying other people's storage units. It's good. Good stop it. Good. But I think we're running out of ideas. I think we need to start combining old show ideas and take 2 shows and combine them to make new ones. I think that'd be much better. Like, I love Little People, Big World. I love Man vs. Food. Let's combine those shows. Little people versus food. I want to see a little person eat a hamburger the same size that they are. I love Naked and Afraid. I love Tiny House Nation. Let's combine those shows. Naked and Afraid in a tiny house. You think about it, you take 2 complete strangers, strip them naked, put them in 250 square feet for a week, that's a good show. Y'all watch these tiny house shows, have you seen them? There's stupid people on these shows. They have no idea what they're doing. They show up to look at the house on the Tiny House show, because they're looking to buy a tiny house, so they go on Tiny House Nation, and they walk into the tiny house, and the first thing they say is, wow, I had no idea it would be this small. It's not small, it's tiny. It's an Italian show. And I don't know about y'all, but in my day, they weren't called tiny houses, they were called trailers. I don't care how fancy you are not tiny house trash at this point. I don't get it. But, people ask me all the time, because like I said, I travel all over the place as an openly gay comic, and people always have to ask me weird questions after the show. I think the weirdest one I got the other night after a show was, why are there so many gay people in San Francisco? I don't know. So I said, I'm just going to make stuff up. So I said, I think it goes back to the pioneer days, when the men got in the covered wagons and headed west and left the women at home, and they went all the way to the other side of the country. And they got to San Francisco and struck it rich. And they thought to themselves, now do we go all the way back to the other side of the country and get the women, or we can stay here, keep all of the money for ourselves, and fuck each other. That's kind of how I like to think it happened. I mean, the same thing applies to Key West. Have you driven that 7-mile bridge? That is a long trip. Y'all been a lot of fun. My name's Jeff Jones.
I've traveled around and seen you at quite a few places. That is one of my favorite sets of yours. Have you ever played Keg in Melbourne?
No.
Well, your career is really not reached its pinnacle until you've done so. You need to work on that.
I'll make sure I put that on my list. I've done dog tracks. That's fun. That was.
Have you?
Oh, yeah.
Have you really?
The Jacksonville Dog Track used to be a bonkers comedy club as well, so that was exciting.
Oh, that is exciting.
You don't know. You have to live till you've been to Dog Track in Jacksonville.
See.
Okay. I have got to sincerely thank. I know we don't actually have that many people tuned in right now since we moved to this 5:30 hour because of Lady Gaga's thing at 8. But just since I made my last little speech, we've taken in over another $1,000. So we want to thank Darlene Dondi, Chris Campermeyer, Michael Dorman, Rick Claggett, Jen Kanish, Betty McKee, Karen Ann, Beth Marshall, Janine Klein, Sean McLean, Robert Green for exactly another $1,000 between us, bringing our grand total to $14,400. So tonight, just while we were on the air, you folks have helped us help another 10 people who will soon be getting a $100 gift. So thank you so much. Remember to tell your friends that this will be living on YouTube, able for anyone to see any time they want, 24/7, as well as the donate URL is active 24/7. And a couple of people texted, I just need to remind you, the application for assistance is not currently available. We just put a hold on it until we can clear this list off. And once we do, we'll open that back up, right?
Yes.
All right, well, Jeff, thanks so much for being with us. Do you have anything you want to say before you go?
No, just keep the donations coming in. The address is there right underneath me. Make sure you donate more, because the unemployment thing's not going to work. We'll all be working again before that website actually functions again, probably. So throw another $20 down there and help another couple actors out.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Hope to see you soon.
Goodbye, Jeff. Stay with us for just 5 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Rich, you're going to bring your co-star in?
Yes.
Is Oliver there? Okay, well, this is the end of our program. We did good. We were shooting for an hour and 15 minutes. We're at an hour 18. So congratulations to us. We kept it within a reasonable time. And if you could see the color-coded flow sheet we get from Rich, you'd all be very impressed, and a result of his working for GE. A special shout out to David Dorman, who, if you saw the opening of the show, that new slick opening was all his doing. And so hang around for the end credits as well, because there are people we didn't mention who need to be thanked, and they're in those, and he did an equally good job with those as well. Tell Oliver we said goodbye, even though we didn't get to see him.
I'll tell him. He's right there.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, thank you all for tuning in. Please share the URL with your friends and get them to watch this throughout the week. And we'll see you again next week with Jacob Lovell and Cesar De La Renta, among others. And coming up on May 2nd, we're doing a Wanzie Sharon musical showcase that will feature all original music by Rich and myself, almost all of which Kenny has at one time directed and musical coached. And among the people singing will be Janine Klein, Blue, we haven't told her yet, but if you're listening, you're in. Frank McLean, you're on. David Dorman and Randy Solomon doing a duet.
Surprise! Surprise!
And Josh Roth, if you're listening, please mark May 2nd out on your calendar, because you're doing the show, honey. All right. That it?
That's it.
That's it.
And watch the ending credits. Good night for now. Bye.